Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night. Welcome to another Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists from around the world. First, we ask that you give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you have any questions for the carvers or our special guests. Let's meet the carvers. Let's do it. First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He's a 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins, Paul Dever. Welcome.
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. We're getting close to carving season.
I know.
Let's do it. Next, he's a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network, Matt Harper. Yeah.
Bienvenidos a la playa. Hi, everyone.
Our returning guest tonight is a professional pumpkin carver known for her numerous appearances on the Food Network. She is also a Guinness World Record holder. Please welcome back the very talented Brandy Davis. Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, it's
It's
a pleasure to have you back.
It's
So
a
good to have
family
you back.
reunion. This is the best.
Thank you. I always love your show. And I was watching your guys' intro, and I'm like, that is the coolest intro. I can sit there and just watch that. Who made that intro?
Somebody. I think we outsourced it. from
Oh,
someone.
I actually never knew that, but that's really cool.
Well, now that you asked, I
It's all
believe that
fancy and professional. But you guys are about to saying. It's really cool.
it really is. And his picture is even better. Mick,
Oh, yeah.
go to the picture.
Oh,
Nice. Nice.
a heartthrob.
Hubba.
My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Let's check out our sculpts from last week. The carving subject was Nervous Ghost. Matt.
Yes, that's my nervous ghost. So I struggled with the ghost part, and I did a couple of pictures that were kind of cool lighting that made it look more ghostly. But my thought was if I made him look like old timey, like turn of the millennium, kind of curly old people's hair, the old wigs and stuff they would wear. So more Disney-esque, like Haunted Mansion kind of look to their
Yes,
so,
that's what it reminds me of.
yeah.
Oh, it's perfect. It reminds me of like a Christmas Carol, like that kind of ghost.
Yeah. Like the Ghost of Christmas Past, that thing with the chains. And
He's definitely a moaner
I was channeling that.
because he's nervous.
Yeah. Right. He's nervous, so he's moaning.
Great job. Great job. I love
And
it.
he's a ghost, so.
And I like that when you screwed with the light, I mean, you should screw with light more often because it definitely brings out all the depth that you were able to get out of, like underneath the nose and underneath the brow. It's such great lighting. Just accentuates. Even like the bags around the cheeks, like the folded skin looks great.
Yeah. And did you add like little wisps of hair like around the side?
Yeah, so I took like little peels of carvings, shavings I already made, and just cut them really thin and just kind of jammed it up where the hair would be.
Cool.
Yeah.
I see. And sometimes for me, it's those little tiny details that just like set it apart. And I know it's like something so minor, but like I don't know, stuff like that. I feel like it's just when artists have that special attention to detail, it's just like makes all the difference. So
I agree.
Thank you.
very, very cool.
Outstanding.
Beautiful sculpt.
Outstanding.
Killed it, Maddie.
And here's Paul's. Oh, so good. So good.
You know how hard it was to not make it look like that pumpkin was dropping a deuce? Like all I could think was like, everybody's going to think it's an emoji. He is floating. Can you tell he's floating?
Yes. Yeah, he's floating. He's like a wisp or like one of those. You remember in what was the Little Mermaid? Remember those little the souls of all the lost sailors and stuff like that were down underwater? It kind of reminds me of those because maybe not. Anyway.
Sure. No. Hey, listen, run with it. I'll take anything that makes any sense because that was a pain in the butt.
It's like these really like creepy little cartoon wormy guys, and I was like, as soon as, but I love what you did to make it float, and that whole appendage, and like it just that was perfect when I saw it. I'm like, shit, I want to do something like that.
And
Hey, Johnny, it's Slimer, not Skinner.
Yeah.
Unless it was-
Oh, that-
and,
yeah, Slimer,
and
definitely.
I'll tell you, if I felt like carving tiny little arms out of like 1,400 pieces of pumpkin, I would have done it. But as if anybody who tunes into the show knows, I've been playing catch up the last 2 weeks because I was on vacation.
Right.
But I did finish it.
Yes, you're still batting 1,000.
Yeah, and your eyes that you do are like, I've been watching you over like, I guess the years, but recently over the months, because you've been carving like every single week, and that is amazing. Like your eyes that you sculpt are getting so expressive, and it's really fascinating. It just brings it to life. I really tip my hat to you if I had one. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's not an effect. I'm actually turning red because I'm blushing because Brandy gave me like the nicest compliment. Thank you, Brandy.
Do not adjust your screens. Got it.
Do
But that's
not
really,
adjust.
I'm like, yeah, I saw that and your one from last week, and I was like, dang, Paul, that's just like, yeah, you guys are just every week, as they say, like practice makes perfect, or what's the new one now? Practice makes improvement. But yeah, you guys are like just killing it. So.
We run with anxiety makes content.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. You got to put that on a T-shirt.
That's
Oh my God, it's coming. Do you have the one from last week, Mick?
I don't.
That was kind of one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I'll do it for next week's show for sure.
For one that took me 2 weeks and lived for me to carve it later.
Yeah. The clown.
Did you mention how you mounted this?
No, I didn't, because it's a trade secret and that would be cheating.
Oh, okay.
No, I have. So you know the armatures you get for small sculptures when you can screw the aluminum body onto a stand. You see them with a lot of sculpture.
Yeah.
So I violently smashed that onto it and then took another piece of aluminum and did a a support underneath to keep it from falling off. It's called Mickey Mousing. It's what I'm best at.
There you go.
Just completely flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah, I love it.
It looks great. It looks super cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So I work in pixels and vectors. So I love all these because they turn into album covers every single week.
Oh my God.
This is my
Potsy? No, not Potsy.
This is Donnie Most. Ralph Mouth.
Ralph Mouth. That's right.
Wait, is this a new thing Mick is doing? This is awesome.
Yes. So he's jumping in with both feet, but he's doing it.
That's so cool.
In digital form. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, they always they turn into album covers for some reason. So this one with the official the original motion picture soundtrack. This is if Donnie Most. The funny thing was I was trying to figure out something with Ghost and I actually had former what was it, a Kansas City Royals manager, Ned Yost, but no one would get that. So I go, oh, what's another Oast? And so Donnie Most came up. Donnie Most taking over for Patrick Swayze here in the remake.
He's much more handsome.
I am so glad you guys added this in. This is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Brandy, you got to go back and see some of them. Some of them are, I mean, they're all dynamite, but some are like, I wish I had that in album format. I would hang it on my wall.
Yeah. These are going to have to start being T-shirts now. This is awesome.
Yeah,
this is true.
Another shirt right there.
Lenny. Hey, Drew. Hey, Lenny. Johnny.
Hey, right on.
Yes.
Sash. Yes.
Hey, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. We appreciate it.
Lenny, hey, what's up?
Well, Brandy, as you know, we have a fourth member of Carvers and Creators.
Yes.
Yes, it is the Hollow Wheel, the Center Spinner. And as always, Paul will explain to anyone out there who doesn't know.
And if you don't know, now you know. Happy Thursday, kids. Welcome to September. We're getting close to the big couple of weeks of serious pumpkin carving here. But in the meantime, we're going to spin the wheel to keep everybody's creative juices flowing. So on the wheel, we're going to spin it twice for those of you that don't know. The first spin is going to be the characters inside, and then the outside will be our second spin, which is the emotion. So the first spin is going to be either a demon, alien, ghost, guest choice, Brandy, witch, zombie, clown, vampire, Frankenstein, or a wolf man. Or wolf woman. I don't care. Okay. Second spin will be insane, disturbed, hungry, nervous, crying, disgusted, smug, terrified, embarrassed, or once again, guest choice, because we like when other people do our job for us. So, are we ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It is a demon, my friends.
Ooh, a demon.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, what kind of demon do we get? It's a hungry demon.
Ooh.
Oh. This is
Exactly, Matt.
When's the last time people carved a hungry demon? This is great.
You know, there's so many of them out there. It's, you know,
Hungry.
so many hungry demons on the internet for carvings.
Nice.
Hey, we made the choice to have the wheel. We got to stick to it.
That's right. That's right.
A hungry demon.
So I am committed into the chat. It is done. Hungry demon it is.
Yeah, I think I got ideas. Oh, I lost one. Here comes another one. Oh, I lost that one too.
Yeah, they're all right.
In one ear, out the other.
Hungry.
We'll figure it out by the end of the week.
Someday.
So Brandy, did you say you were in or not in on this one?
Brandy.
Wait, what?
You have carving tools handy is our main question.
Well, of course I do. I always have them handy, but not like here. They're in my workspace. But
Okay.
but the reason why is I told you I was working today and I wasn't expecting to work, and then I was supposed to go grocery shopping to get some cool stuff. But also too, Paul, we talked about pumpkins aren't necessarily available right now, but I don't know. I just have such an aversion to carving like potatoes or squash. Like I still to this day have never carved like any kind of squash or a potato. I absolutely refuse unless it's for teeth or something. But I don't like carving faces into them. So I don't know. It's me being like, maybe I'll say stubborn, but it's probably me just being a little timid about it. So
Okay.
Your
That's what it
tradition.
is. I think, but I think you're in the right space. It's a safe space. You could possibly carve a butternut squash in this space.
I know I probably can. And they'd probably be so cool too because of that. Like you have that infinite, well, not infinite depth, but you know what I mean. There's
It's so consistent though. It's much firmer than pumpkin flesh is, but once you get used to the, how dense it is, it's so fun. It's almost like whittling.
I think the one time I tried it, and it was years ago, it had completely turned me off to it. And it was just this one-time thing because unbeknownst to me at the time, it was like a really old one where like the outside gets petrified and then you try to like carve into it and it's like trying to hack into the wood and it's awful. So I'm like, dang it. Anyway, but I have some other stuff here though.
I was saying we love you and you're off the hook anyway because we have so much to talk about today.
Yes,
a ton of cool stuff.
Yes.
So I guess we got to stay focused on all the cool stuff we're going to be talking about. I don't know, Mick. I guess we got to do some toasting first, right?
Yes. We're going to go around the horn. If you're carving or creating with us, we're going to give you 5 minutes to get your tools together, get situated, get your carving oil, and then we're going to tell you what our carving oil is tonight. Ladies first, what is your carving oil of choice tonight, Brandy?
Okay, so I don't know. I love Sprite, but I like Sprite and cranberry. No vodka in this, Matt. Just keeping it simple, but I really do. There's something like super refreshing about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's good.
Is it Sprite cranberry or Sprite with cranberry?
It's Sprite, and then I take like just straight like what's that called? The unsweetened, just like the straight cranberry juice, and just like do a couple splashes, and it's like that pop of niceness. So yeah.
No, I like it. It's custom. It's because I know they have Sprite cranberry, which I'm sure is just straight sugar and artificial cranberry flavor.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a snow cone, but I don't know how appropriate that would have been to eat on here. And then I'm actually ready for summer to be over, so I'm good.
Don't you want to be an innovator? You could have been the first snow cone.
Yeah.
I didn't want. Well, I can still do that. I'll just bring it on, and I actually make my own snow cones. I'll just make it right here live. That'll be my contribution.
If you could carve it, well, you could be the demon, and you could be hungry, and you could actually have a snow cone. Boom.
Or I could carve it out of my snow cone. Maybe just make a little snow cone.
There you go.
Don't tease me.
Thinking out loud.
Like that. That would be amazing. I wouldn't do anything except for watch you carve a demon out of a snow cone. That would be, that would be unbelievable as well.
This is the weirdest conversation I've had today, so this is great.
Well, don't worry. We're only a couple minutes in. We'll have weirder ones.
Yeah, I know. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Matt, what do you got?
I got I've had this one before, but I really liked it. It's called Mango Wheat. It's a from State 48 Brewery, which is an Arizona brewery.
Yeah,
you probably know more about this than I do, but they're out of Phoenix, and and it's like just fine. It's not an APA, so I like it. It's good.
Matt, if it's anything we know, it's you don't like IPA.
Yeah,
I thought I could. I tried them. How's that? I gave it a college try.
Points for trying. Paulie, what do you got?
Well, as you know, we're getting off of our vacation as a family, in which case we drank every good beer that Maine had to offer, and we didn't save any because we're not smart like that when thinking ahead. However, our favorite beer of choice in the summer when relaxing is what we always have on hand, which would be a Corona.
Okay.
It's not the most exciting beer, but it does the trick.
Yes.
And it's a vacation beer, so maybe it's
it's my end of vacation beer, really, because I'll tell you all the Bissell brothers and stuff that we came across in Maine. I'm like, I'm going to save this.
I'm going to save this in my stomach.
Yeah. I'm going to hold it in my stomach.
Yeah. But it stays in your head. That's where it stayed probably longer.
Yeah, it doesn't dilute out till like lunchtime when your head stops ringing.
Oh yeah. So my beer is actually from a really awesome brewery that's in Orange County. It's a Green Cheek Beer Company, and this is the member IPA. So not like members only, but like member as in remember.
Remember what we did last night?
Yeah. So they always have this. They have this artist, and I should have researched it. They have this really cool artist that does all their artwork and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the instructions on this beer is to drink while smiling. So I will definitely be doing that tonight.
Very nice.
Yes, Green Cheek. Yeah, awesome, awesome brewery. So cheers to everybody. Cheers to our creations. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we would be understating it if I might say this might be the biggest show because we have some great announcements for tonight. So Paul, do you want to do your announcement?
Sure. Why not?
Hey, well, focus on Paul. Let's give him the whole screen here.
Okay.
Hold on.
This is a big one. Hi, kids.
Big announcement. All right, so it's been a long time, and I couldn't talk about it, but now I can because it's out there, and I have graduated from contestant to participant/judge on this year's season of Outrageous Pumpkins. And I'm very excited and very humbled to be in unbelievable company. And it's just surreal, and I'm super duper stoked. And I hope everybody tunes in.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
In case you thought I was lying.
That is so cool.
They superimposed me.
Power of Photoshop. No, this is
unbelievable.
Awesome.
To be with Terry and Sonny was like one of the top moments, top 10 moments of my life. Obviously, one of the top moments in my professional pumpkin carving career. And God knows, you guys know I'm super judgmental, so I slid right into this role. So judgmental. But what
I think they picked a perfect person for that because, so you were on. You said it wasn't technically season 1, right? It was like what was it called? Like a pilot season?
What do they call 101? They called it episode 101, which was the last time they did it as a special.
Okay, yeah, and I remember watching that, and that one was so cool. And I'm like, but yeah, you're working on all the stuff you've done, and like, yeah, you so deserve that spot right there. So I'm like stoked to see you doing this.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah, super excited.
I hope I don't sound like an idiot. That's always the hope. But they're really good at editing, so I'm hoping they make me sound like Einstein when I get to see. But honestly, there are some serious talent out there. I don't want to say, but like, holy moly, with the people that are on the show this year, it was nuts with the amount of talent. It's a good thing for our culture, right? Our pumpkin carving culture is.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it was tough.
I'm chiming in because I'm proud of my boy. That's my boy up there. But like hang on. Okay, all right. I'm putting myself together. No, but like the shoes you're filling, you have Ray and Mark and Paul, and I mean, I think it's such a nod to not only your talent but like your presence. I mean, like it's anyway. We're so stoked. I mean, we just couldn't be more excited for you too, Paul. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't wait to watch it. I think it's going to be cool.
We're going to hold your cape. We're going to hold your cape the whole.
How did you know I was wearing a cape?
Get on your back of your shirt.
I'll tell you what, it was super easy. It's, we know Terry, and Terry is just a love. She's the easiest person to talk to. And I had never met Sunny, and Sunny is, as advertised, she's amazing, hilarious, and such a great personality for television. I had such a great time. It was awesome. It was fantastic. And I'm very happy to be able to talk about it, because if my kids asked me one more time if I had done something last year, because I was gone for a long time, it takes a while to do these things.
Yeah.
And I came back and I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you after Christmas. I'll tell you after New Year's. I'll tell you after St. Patrick's.
Tell your kids? Oh my gosh.
No, well, listen, that's, that Brandy, you know how it is. That's the game we play, right? You got to be quiet for a long time.
Well, that was it. Well, okay, fine. But
well, my kids. So when I was on, when I was actually on as a contestant, my son, he overheard the conversation when they said I was going to be on the show. He went into school the next day and at the top of his lungs stopped in the hallway and was like, "My father's going to win a television show."
Okay.
At that point, it's like,
okay.
Yeah, Luke's a liability with secrets. So, but these are good secrets, right? So now we got something to look forward to. September 25th. West Coast is 7 p.m. East Coast is 10 p.m., which is probably why whenever I go to the West Coast, people go, "Oh, hey, Paul." And I'm like, "I don't know you." And they're like, "Oh, we saw you on the show." And I'm like, "Oh, it's at a normal hour where people would watch it."
Yeah.
Are they doing 4 or 5 episodes this season?
It's 4 episodes, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Action-packed, I might add. So definitely action.
I love that show. And it's crazy because as chaotic as it looks like watching it at home, it was like 20 times more chaotic when you're on set. It's amazing what they do and the time they're given. So it's like,
I mean, you would know. You had
well,
like
that's why when I'm watching
legendary
I've been on both sides now, like watching it and being there, and it's just crazy. Like I watch it and I'm like, oh, they cut out so much, and like it's almost like frustrating watching it because you see like all these, like I remember watching like Monique building like all this practical scaffolding from like hanging it from the roof, and I'm like, oh my, they didn't catch half of that, and like stuff that they have to do is just, it's insane. So yeah, I'm excited to see this season. I feel like it's getting better and better because each season watches the last season and they kind of improve on it. So
yeah, there's a lot of one-upping, which is great. Yes. That's what you want to see. I mean, it is outrageous pumpkin, so you don't want to see "Welcome to Mediocre Pumpkin Challenge." No, I don't know how many times I might have said that, but it's like this is outrageous pumpkin. Like if you're not on a ladder or you're not halfway on fire, while you're like, I want to see gasoline and have to like take 30 steps back. But I'll tell you what, the crew, the contestants this year are so talented and think so far beyond what I would think. It's, thank God I didn't have to compete. I'm so happy to be a judge at this point. Seriously, the talent out there has just gone up a million times. I'm so happy to see how it comes together.
That is awesome. Wow. Congratulations, Paul. Well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And yeah, thank you, Johnny. Our first super sticker. Look at that.
I don't know what that is, but thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. We really super appreciate that.
What is a super sticker?
You'll find out later.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What a fuddy duddy.
That's awesome. I'm happy too.
Thanks, Johnny.
Oh my gosh.
He's our first too. So
yes,
that's.
Oh, We owe him $10 then if he's first.
Well, like I said, this is a we have so many announcements to make. That was our first big one, but we also have a follow-up one. So should we do that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, we still have to carve a demon that is hungry.
Semantics.
We'll get to that. All right, my bad.
Too many announcements.
So go for it, guys.
I'm gonna point to her. I think this is the beauty of what we're going to be talking about next came from this woman's mind. So
it is the brainchild.
Let's hear about the big announcement.
The thing
The thing about
All
the
right.
thing.
And I wish you guys would have prepared me. I'm so terrible on the spot.
You're not. You're amazing.
Well,
Stop it.
But I do really love Halloween. And yes, so as some of you or most of you, or hopefully all of you know, we are going to be kicking off the GPCC. So that is the Great Pumpkin Carving Contest of now 2022. So I am super stoked. All you guys are stoked. And I'm like, and it's going to be even bigger than it was last year. And also, too, we're going to have, what did we do? 2 weeks last year. We're going to do, I think, the full month of October this time. And I'm just like, I can't wait to see what people are going to be entering in, because now we're going to have, we're going to have some cool prizes and just, we're doing what? Amateur category and professional. So this is going to make it even more interesting.
Yep. So stay tuned throughout the month, because we're going to iron out and make it real easy for everybody to enter. So when we do the amateur category and we do the professional category, but everybody should be in on this, because you have 4 weeks now. It was by the seat of our pants. Let's see what we can do. And we got so many awesome entries this year. It doesn't even make sense not to make it bigger and better and give everybody an extra 2 weeks.
And I think what I love about this particular contest too, and this is what I always describe it this way to people, is that it's a contest for artists by artists. Like, we definitely wanted to take away all the frills, all the, like, I don't want to say all the outrageousness, but realistically, I feel like there's something to be said for a contest that focuses purely on the pumpkin carving itself and the skill that goes into it, because there's some, like last year, those pumpkins were so amazing. Just when you think about what people can do with a few tools, a knife, and a pumpkin, it's just like mind blowing. And I love it. I think it's just this mutual inspiration that just goes on, and it kicks off the Halloween season for me.
100%.
I couldn't agree more. I think one of the things that also floored me last year was, like, everyone's kind of in this little pumpkin culture that we're in, we just are so happy to be a part of. You get these crazy ideas that people pull out of the woodwork, and you're like, wow, now I have to up my game. It's like every time I saw one of these sculpts, I'm like, holy crap, look at that. That looks like real hair. Oh my God, look at that face. So I was just always blown away every time I'd see one. And it was international too. So I was like, we were getting entries from literally every corner of the earth that happened to have a pumpkin nearby. So it's just, I can't, now that we're going to have it for the entire month of October, what we're going to get in these two categories, in my opinion, is just going to be like otherworldly. I can't wait.
Yes. And so I would say to anybody, stay tuned for more details. We'll be posting on all of our Instagram pages and website. They'll just have the rules and all the, when you can start entering in. And then I think we announced the winner Halloween day last year. I think we're going to keep that a tradition. So it's going to be amazing.
And don't forget, in the professional category, you're competing for the trophy, which is really, part of the prize package, but the trophy being
the coveted, here it is.
Very awesome. That thing is so cool.
The Buckle of Glory.
Designed
by fellow pumpkin carver Roberto Velasco. Go give that guy a follow. He's nuts talented, unbelievable, out of LA. So look at that. Ooh,
that is
shiny.
So cool. So cool.
It's solid.
And it's gigantic, by the way. You can't put this on, it's bigger than my floor.
See, but
I tried to wear it one day, and I tried to tie my shoes wearing it one day as a goof. and I almost impaled myself on the crown. It's gigantic. It's a huge, it's beautiful.
But it was the perfect size though for our winner Luke last year. It was just, it fit his personality wonderfully. So
I'll tell you what, it makes a great belt buckle. It makes a great wall ornament for your trophy case. Whatever it is, there's only going to be one winner this year, and this is the one I have. So start carving, guys.
Yeah.
Get ready and then bring it.
And
bring it this year. We had some crazy talent last year, and it's going to be, it was so hard to judge last year. I can't even.
it was so hard. Yeah.
I'm already stressing out about just thinking about the judging again.
And I will add too, with that wonderful, wonderful belt buckle, there's going to be some other prizes that are in the works. We will go ahead and post about that later too. So keep checking our Instagram pages for that, because there's some really cool prizes this year.
Yeah. Look, McFrazzle Stash is already starting the chatter. I love it. He's coming for him. He's coming for Shredder.
yes.
Oh,
McFrazzle Stash was right there last year too, man. It's some crazy good carvers out there. I love it.
Fraz was, if I recall, was down to the wire against
Yes.
Shredder last
Oh
year.
my God. So tight.
Watch out. It's anyone's game.
And
Yes.
to the guy out there that thought this looked like Count Chocula, chill out. It doesn't look like Count Chocula. All right, dude. Let me just call you out right now. Sour grapes is sour grapes, brother. Somebody, every time I carve a pumpkin with a double chin, it's Slimer. So get used to that stuff, all right? People are going to think it's something that's not. Just carve better. That's it. Do better.
So, yeah.
I'm only
I
kidding.
get it now, and I'm like, why did they call it Count Chocula? Like, he looks nothing. I mean, yes, there's like a slight like resemblance, but like, I don't know. Nick, are you allowed to pull up the Count Chocula picture? Like, I'm sure it's so different.
Yeah.
No, I honestly, my mind went to just like a goblin, obviously, because of the
that's
features.
what it is, very much. Yeah.
But when I tried to explain, like, well, to me it looks more like the little dude from Harry Potter in the bank, like the goblin. But then I looked at a picture of that and I'm like, no, nothing like it, except for the pointy nose and the pointy ears.
Yeah, like for me, I looked at it and I couldn't my mind didn't go to any character in particular at all. It just went straight to like the skill and the seamlessness and just like everything about it was just amazing. I'm like, wow, this one.
Yeah, Luke smashed the seams out of the park because you got ears, nose, and chin. And people not everybody might know that, but that chin's on there, that nose is on there, and both those ears. And the ears are front and center. Usually I try to bury them behind something.
Yeah.
So you don't have to fight the seam. That dude threw it right on the all right, I'm not kissing Luke's ass anymore. He's too funny for that because he'll have a million things to say. Yeah. Carvers
and Creators.
Oh, the inner Mothman.
Rises to the top. Yeah.
Nice. And you know what? We'll have to like Mick, you had a great idea. Like we'll have to have Luke on when we make the announcement to do the virtual passing of the buckle, even though he doesn't have to get rid of his own buckle, but he can pass it on to the winner.
There you go.
That's
and we'll
cool.
keep that chain going because it's all about love, right? This is our community. This is what we do. We carve perishable items, people. As nerdy as it is, it's pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank God for your cameras.
Yeah, so we'll give you more information on this in every week leading up to it and on all of our social medias. So definitely watch out for that. And please enter. We want to triple, quadruple the entries this year. And I think having an amateur and professional category, it's going to be super competitive. So, get them in early and often.
So the only thing we really need to iron out is what are we going to consider amateur and professional? Because if somebody's smart, like I would have been, I would enter as an amateur.
Yeah. Well, I think we had discussed that the prize, I don't want to call it a prize pack, but that'll be, I'm probably going to limb and say way better for the professional category. So you can, we might make some stipulations, but at the end of the day, if we just let it be free range, I'm going to say the incentive is going to be enter in the professional category. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be some good stuff there.
That's why you're the brains of this outfit.
See, but also too, I feel like we know not all the pumpkin carvers. We know a lot of them. So we know if you're professional or amateur or not too. So
but there's a lot of new talent that I'm so excited to see because there are some seriously talented people that haven't gotten a shot at a show or anything like that have really just started. And I agree with you. We can almost boot them out of the amateur category based on the criteria. Like,
Yeah.
you dude, you need to be in the other category there. But we're gonna and I hope it brings in a lot of young carvers too.
And
Like,
I would say like
sub
what it,
18, like kids. Like there's some 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that can carve like crazy.
yeah. And I would say maybe like what if it's like their first year carving? If this has been your first year carving and you want to be, I think that could be a cool amateur, just like to see what their first 1, 2, or 3 pumpkins look like and get those like just get them motivated to go get out there. And some people can rock it on their like I didn't want to go there with Sue Beatrice's first carving, but I was like, holy crap. Like you never know what's gonna come out from like left field and like, you know, that new carver. And I'm like, there's some, like you said, some skilled people out there. So
and from year to year, like you watch how much people progress, right? Like your artistic skills can progress so much. So I'm looking to see some of the past entries from last year that were really, really good to see how much better they got over the course of the year. Because I'm sure every one of you carved every week along with us, right?
You don't have an excuse.
No excuses. There's no. We've been doing this all year long, guys.
And they've been watching
even when we didn't want to.
Just a couple times.
We saw a little bit of the judge flex there, Paul. You were flexing judge style. There you go.
Which way to the beach, Paul? Jesus. Hey, so I saw Ian just chime in that, you know, he's putting down the gauntlet. He saw the beauty that was Luke's carve last year. And I love that healthy competition because to me, you know, getting inspired by a really cool carve like that to do, you know, that's what keeps us motivated. I'll see Paul's one week. I'm like, God damn it, look at their eyes on that. And I'll be like, now I have to not only be better than I was last week, but I have to be better than he was. And it's always this, but it just makes it so much more fun and better when everyone's like, you know, trying harder.
Yeah,
I agree. Like every time you carve hair, I'm like, oh, come on. Mine's going to be bald. Mine's just going to have no hair.
But remember, we're all visual. So it's like when we see the things in the competition level, and it's like, oh, it pushes us to be more, you know, and it's healthy. It's healthy and makes us all better. And it raises the level of our creativity, but also the level of talent. And you get faster and you see like, oh, wow, that's a cool technique. Like even me, like when I was looking at Luke's, I'm going to actually go back to Luke's real quick. Like, again, I would be in the amateur category if I were to do this. But the thing that I noticed was the stem on this. I noticed you talked about the stem being really large actually adds to it being a good pumpkin to carve. I remember hearing this. So if you watch this, you know, show, you know, you glean that type of knowledge. So when you're looking for pumpkins, that's maybe something you're looking for.
It's a very good
it also adds to the personality of the pumpkin. The stem can, you know, if done right and done in the right way, like this, it flows with it. Almost looks like a hair or a horn or something, but but a big, nasty, cool bent stem always looks really cool. And it's as part of the sculpture as the sculpt is, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
And if I may speak for like the people who are like watching your show or that maybe in the future, or even like have family, friends, relatives, and they see this and they're like, or they even see when we post on our Instagram pages about the contest, there are people that I've met, they're like, oh, I could never do that. And so they never try. And I'm like, no, like give it a shot. Like I've seen like kids, like as long as you kind of like step by step them through it, or they just watch a tutorial, I've seen kids, adults like be shocked at what they create. Like they're like, oh, there's no way I could do it. And then by the end of like an hour or two, they're like, wow, like I made that. And they're so proud of their work. So like if anyone's watching it and they're like, oh, there's no way, just give it a shot. So you never, ever know. Like at the very least, have fun with it. And like, you know, because as Ian was posting that, my mind went to the people that are like, oh, well, they made such a great pumpkin, I'm not even going to try. No, like, no, like just try, like just get out there, put yourself out there, and just have fun with it. So,
100%.
It's a pumpkin.
So, hi to Ted, Mr. Ted Haynes.
Yes.
Oh, we love Ted.
Ted Faber himself.
The man.
You know what, Brandy, you brought up a great point. So when you get the same thing from everybody, whether it's carving or not, they get, I can't even draw a stick figure. Well, you couldn't drive a car at one point either, but I'm sure you have a license. You figured it out. Like, not everybody has the same depth, I guess, the levels above, but everybody can get to a stage where you're pretty good at it. Right. And you gotta learn from somebody. You have to have a teacher, somebody that shows you the proper ways to start. And I try to tell students when I do it is I'll give them the basic steps so they can see where the nose is, right? How we're gonna subtract and create all these the light. And then I say, now stare at it like you would a cloud. Eventually you're gonna see like, oh, all right, this is gonna go there and this is gonna go there. Right. And I just tell them, don't dig too fast. Like, take your time and stick to the basic steps.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, everybody's a fool who says they can't draw a stick figure. Everybody can draw a stick figure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pull up some of the from last year. You know, some of the entries here that
that's a big one too.
Yeah, it is big.
And I also think that like again, like a lot of, you know, when I talk to students that are, you know, artists and I think one of the biggest things that kind of stops them is the being judged part, and you're going to be judged right away. And the one thing that you do is just like you have to push past that. You just create for yourself, like make it how you would want it, not how everybody else would want it. And I think that one of the great things about this medium is like, you know, and Matt says it all the time. It's like, oh, if you don't like it, turn it around, use the other side. You know, it's like, and that's what I did when I first started carving too. It's like, and I look back at it and I'm like, wow, I was actually better than I thought at the time. And I definitely need to jump back into it for sure.
And this one, so this is by the Carving Chisel. I really, really like this one too because of that texture that's right on that cheek. Like that stuff, I've tried to carve like that little webbiness into, and I don't know, maybe it's like I don't have a lot of patience sometimes, but that stuff sometimes is like to try to make it look like it has depth and roundedness, and like that's an advanced move there. So, and I love the bags under the eyes, and this one's a cool one.
Agree.
Yeah,
it's almost Freddy Krueger caught in a fire kind of look to him.
Yes. Yeah.
So cool.
And yes, we had so many great entries last year.
That's so good.
So I'm a sucker for really good expressions. I like that one. Just, I feel like when pumpkins can tell a story, it's just by looking at them, it's like, oh, that's my whole. I don't know. That's my soft spot.
Mm-hmm. Ah, Steven.
Very nice.
Yeah, I love that one. The wrinkles and the folds. Yeah.
That one's awesome. Oh, yes.
I love that one.
Yeah. I mean, we had so many great entries in here and super elaborate, you know, and yeah. So
nice work, kid.
Again, just enter, just, you know, but also carve, like make it happen. And it's like, that's how you're going to get better. That's how everybody except for me on this panel did it.
You work in pixels and vectors, Mick.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been doing that for over 30 years. So like that's I can do that in my sleep, and I sometimes do.
Wake up to it.
That's a good one too. I
really like
the way
this.
they stretched it out. He stretched that out was good.
I mean, again, it's pushing the bounds of creativity. And then this was I've forgotten about this one, the backlit.
Garbage pail.
Yeah.
So that's McFrazzle Stash's bread and butter, which he's so good at, is the etching. It's dynamite. Yeah. And you can't go wrong with the garbage pail, kid. Let's be honest.
No, you can't.
You can't go wrong. And there's so much going on in that. That's not like the toilet seat and the pumpkin on the front. Like, how do you even? I don't even know where you begin to do that, dude. It's pretty amazing.
I've tried pumpkin etching before, and you need so much patience for that. Like, you think that 3D carving, you do need patience too, but I've tried it. I tried to do a simple logo, and it took so long for me to do, and I just was like, oh my god. So yeah, tip my hat to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dynamite at it. That's a dynamite one too.
Yeah, so much detail on that one.
See, this one, I look at it and I think if it had ears, it would be like completely a gremlin. It'd be perfect.
Yeah,
gremlin.
that does look like a gremlin. That is.
Yeah, you would need like to cut a pumpkin in half, and then I don't know how you'd support it. You need like hydraulic supports to have the.
Oh yeah, no, there's ways to do it, but and not that that's not a fantastic carving by itself, but adding like that extra like flare-like ears, even especially if they were really big. Like if it's a carving that makes me look at it and think like, wow, how did they do that? Like that's probably gonna be at the top of my list. But yeah, that just sets it apart a little bit to add on a little extra. But it's still a beautiful carving.
You know what I would have done? Honestly, stay on that for a second, because now you got me thinking about like support and stuff. I would have put like a 1/2-inch dowel all the way through it.
Oh, yes.
Right. You know what I mean? And then supported the ears from behind through that way.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm never going to try it because that's just way above what I have the time to do. I'm the judge now. I can just judge people. That's all I do.
You're a professional.
Yes, I'm a professional judge. I no longer have to actually do anything.
I have to change your intro now, Paul.
That's right.
Oh, nice. Do I get music? Do I get like a walk-up song? What do I get?
the trumpet fanfare. We're gonna put
the trumpet. Yeah.
Nice. See, that's such a cool use of the entire squash.
I know.
I really like.
I think that's a kaboka, right? That's a kaboka squash. I can tell by the texture.
Oh, maybe it is.
I can see the top of it on the leg, and I can just tell by the texture of it, like the starchiness of it.
A little drier. You know what? This was one of my top 5 for sure.
Same. One of my top. Yeah. But it was just because it wasn't a pumpkin. I'm like, no. But that one was one of my top 2.
Trying an acorn squash. Wow, that's a pretty it's like a roller coaster of ridges.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reeds in it and like strings, so you might want to use a lot of knife, if I remember.
Oh, right. So McFrazzle says you're going to try a sculpt. Oh, with an acorn. You are a brave man, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super.
Definitely post it.
Yes.
Let us see how that goes, because they can be a nightmare. See, Mikey Batts does a great job. He's always done a great job of working in like it tells a story every picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one
he actually put a video.
He had a whole video.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I will say, sorry, the one before that was on the skateboard. That one was a fan favorite. Like everyone was like, I remember posting that on my Instagram page, and it got so many likes and shares. People love that one, so that one was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mr. Pater, and I know he's a younger guy.
He's up and coming. That kid's getting real good, real fast. I love to see
he's
it.
Amazing.
He's great now, but I think he's an art student too. So. He's actually getting the knowledge.
Right, the use of the different colors of pumpkin, makes this thing really stand out. You know, not only did he bolt on a nose, but he's got the the beard and the eyebrows that are just like stellar.
Yeah, the use of the rhyme for the eyebrows is dynamite.
Good contrast. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, he's a good artist. He's a good, well-rounded artist.
Yeah.
Hi, Corey.
Oh, there's John Davis. I love that one.
John Davis he's a favorite of mine just because John and I started at the same time, and I've always looked at John's work and been like, I have to get better, because he'll just tackle the hardest subject every night when we're on a gig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you going to do this? And he'll just go, I don't know. I'll just figure it out. And by the end, I'm like, holy shit, he figured it out. He literally figured it out.
Yeah.
That wasn't a little pumpkin, people. That was like a 100-pound pumpkin.
Yeah, I got to see that. I got to see
in
that
one night.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah,
that's with like 20 people standing over your shoulder, being like, "How do you do that? Can you answer a question? Can you take a picture of my son?" So John doesn't get nothing rattles John. He can do it in any situation.
And bonus points that's from one of my favorite books as a kid, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That character's from there.
That's the one.
Love it.
Yeah. And that's one of the best of the episodes. That's the creepiest one.
There's another.
It
Johnny
is.
Davis. I know those
Creepy.
eyes.
So
That's
good.
such a cool one. That looks like it's literally ready to jump out of the pumpkin at you. It's like,
Those eyes are perfect. Those eyes are just awesome.
He does such a good job of it. Such a good. Oh, and
I
that's
really
Sarah.
like this one. I thought this one was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Sarah was right up there too.
Yeah.
Sarah, is it Bolstein, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to ask where she got that pumpkin with that amazing stem. That is just like, oh, that's beautiful. But even then, the carving itself was cool. I actually really appreciate too the different lighting, because sometimes you can have like a really amazing carve, and this is, I mean, either way it looks great. But I've carved before. I've seen other people carve before, and if you don't light it right, and it's hard too. That's the one thing when you're just starting to, is trying to find out like how to light these things, because it's not just straight on. You have to like play around with the lighting, and that can kind of, like, I remember some of my first carvings I tried to photograph. I just, looking back on them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wish I did better there, because you just lose so much of the detail, and a lot gets lost in translation, I guess. So, but yeah, so definitely if anyone's just starting, like, just kind of practice with the lighting too. This one was great. I love the theatrical lighting on it, but it just reminded me like to like just throw that out there if anybody's starting, just kind of play around with it and do backlighting or do different colors even. Like, you'll never know what's gonna really like set your pumpkin off and just highlight those details and all the time you put into it.
Yeah, and digitally, orange is really a hard color to light. So because it's a light color, but then you have light, so it blows it out. So a lot of the details come out of it. But if you get creative with your lighting and move your lighting, you're going to get different shadows and sometimes even two light sources, but diffusing it. So you have to kind of play around with the lighting. It's not the first lighting that you had. I was trying to explain this to my girlfriend about how to light herself when she was doing, like, she was trying to understand about like green screen, and it's a little bit different, difficult to explain, but like all you have to do is, like, if you're going to take a picture, you want to be facing the sun, but not facing the sun where it blows you out. So you kind of have to kind of understand, how to maybe being a little bit in the shade or lighter, So again, with this, it's much different because, the orange it just blows out, and or it gets totally dark like it would here.
Right.
And that's why these things are so cool, because it's lit from the back. So it's the light isn't on it. So it's like it's dark, but then the light's coming at you. So it's a different way. And these are amazing, super amazing.
I remember Mark and Chris recognized this one right off the bat.
Yeah.
This is a famous painting. And I'm not an art I'm not an art major or painting guy, but both of them are like, that's dynamite.
Yeah. So good.
I think Chris Soria noticed it right off the bat, which painting it was.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever done a pumpkin like this? That's like the 2D kind?
No.
With all the shading and stuff? Because I've done the etching, but I haven't like gone as far as like doing the shading and all that. And I don't, people look at like 3D pumpkins and like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? I look at these and I'm like, oh my gosh, how'd they do that?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just curious if you guys have ever attempted one.
I skate my lane.
Nice. Same.
I know what I'm better at than other things. I do a lot of branded stuff, and I've done with a little bit of shading just for effect on the lighting, but nothing like that. You're taking a masterpiece and essentially making it like grayscale, but
Yeah.
On a round organic surface.
Yeah. I don't like to see that thing in the daylight. You'd be like, wow, what a mess. And then you turn off the light and you're like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Like such a tough way to work. So cool.
Yeah. It's almost like an illusion. You're like, wait, okay, now. But you ever see those installations where they just stack stuff up, and then you have to stand in a certain area to see exactly. I love all those. I think that those are. It's like it's such a reveal, like and it's so smartly constructed, you know, and that's why I feel this is, you know, it's a similar thing. You kind of your brain has to be like super huge to make these things work, right?
Yeah, so McFrazzle says his reference is in grayscale. So see,
I know, that would make sense.
I know some things.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's just, you know, it's like 0 would be the lightest, and then 100 would be the darkest. So that's how that works.
So
that one's an awesome piece. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, here's another one for McFrazzle Stash.
Jeez,
cool.
Super detailed.
It's the McFrazzle Stash show. Dude's getting some.
I know.
We had so many entries last year. Awesome.
Yeah. I guess that also tells us, remember, folks, you can enter as many as you want.
Yeah, that's right. You can enter as many times as you want.
If you're proud of it and you want to throw it into the mix, you know, please just post it. Just remember, the only prerequisite is tagging us and also putting in GPCC 2022.
Yeah.
Hashtag. So make sure you do that. That way it gets anyone can look at it.
Yeah.
See, and I saw Dean had just mentioned, Dean Murray had mentioned that 3D pumpkins are really cool to be lit up from the inside. Oh, right there. Yes, and I mean, I guess maybe I've seen some, but I don't know if I've done any of mine because I've tried, just out of curiosity, and mine look, well, not want to say awful. They just look weird lit from the inside if it's not meant to be, because then it looks almost like a reverse image on the outside, like all the
negative. Yeah, like a negative.
Yeah, like a negative. And I'm just like, it just doesn't come off well. But everyone always gets on me for that when I go to like shows and stuff. They're like, oh, you gotta light it from the inside. I'm like, no, but I don't know. I'd love to see a photo of one lit from the inside that it works well with, because I mean, I'm sure they're out there, and I'm sure I probably have seen them. None are coming to mind right now. But just curious how you guys feel about that. Have you guys ever lit any of yours?
I've never tried it, but I'm in the same boat. I keep thinking if I did it, like the thinnest part of the pumpkin, like in the corners of the eyes, would be the lightest, and the thickest, like the nose and the brows and stuff, would be dark. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe like because you can do a negative in some programs and then turn that to make those darks lights and switch. Maybe maybe there's something cool there. I don't know.
Dean, you're gonna have to tag us in some photos that you have, because I want to see one lit from the inside in the 3D lit. Yeah.
See, I was always of the school from it. The challenge is to get as close as you can without actually breaking through. Now, I've gotten away from that a little bit because, you know, if you're looking to take a great picture, you want to kind of break through to get the black from, you know, because I'll dig as deep as I can. And I'm like, that's not getting any darker. Like, you could still see where it is.
Yeah.
But the only times I've ever lit mine is because I had already broken through in a way, and it was kind of like, well, I already broke through in this light, so I might as well throw a light in it. But there have been times, and it's exactly like you guys just said, you're looking at a negative.
Yeah.
Right. So it can look cool. Like some negatives look cool. So it just depends on the subject, I guess.
So think of it this way. So if you're just about to break through, that would be like 1. So remember I said like 0 to 100. So if you're about to break through, that's like 1. If you were to break through, that would be 0, right? But then halfway would be 50. And then with nothing would be 100.
Yeah.
So if you go further in, that would be the lightest.
That's too many numbers. Too many numbers.
Numbers are hard, Nick. Numbers are hard, dude.
That's what I do with Photoshop. I think about the same thing. There's a similar thing when you do masking and do other things and try to brush stuff away. It's the same concept. It's with grayscales. Yeah.
Interesting. And I have to admit, I will never try this, but you know, when people like stick, I would stick my face in the snow, but when you stick your face in the snow and it leaves like that impression,
yes.
If you ever find a pumpkin thick enough, I'm gonna challenge you or anybody out there watching this to carve that like negative impression into a pumpkin. That would be really cool. If you're stuffing the face in it, but it has to be, I would think, a pretty thick pumpkin, or you just have to be really skilled. But that would be cool because if you like that from the inside, that would be really cool.
Oh,
But-
What if I just smashed my face into like a really old pumpkin where it's soft enough that I could accept my face?
Enough beer.
Well,
Paul.
Brandy, I mean, you did invent a I wouldn't, what do you call it, a technique on Outrageous Pumpkins that nobody had seen before when you did the queen inside the pumpkin.
I wouldn't call it invent. But
I believe you invented it because I'd never seen it before.
You know, so the funny thing about that is I had a totally different idea and it wasn't really working out when I was doing it. And then luckily, I'm like, something happens to your brain when you're in a competition like that and you're just, I don't know, it's like you access like this piece of your brain that you don't access normally, and then it's like, oh, this makes sense right now. And I was carving almost the reverse into a pumpkin. But yeah, I guess it's similar to that. You're just carving it in, and it was racking my brain a little bit, but I was just like, I'm just gonna go for it because it was kind of like that. You're carving in as if you're stuffing your face or a face into the pumpkin itself, and it was challenging. Like I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna look right, but the concept of it, and I think in theory it'll work great. So I don't know if someone's willing to give that a shot. That would be a really cool one to do.
It would. Man, you have to have a mile thick pumpkin too.
Yeah, mile thick pumpkin. But if you're stuck, go watch Brandy's episode of Outrageous Pumpkins where she does that. It was the most impressive episode I think I've ever watched because it was like, Jesus, I've never even thought to do that. And you were put on the spot to do that. Like you said, sometimes your brain just goes, Yeah, and then other times it goes, I'm just going to pack my bags.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
Too. It was when the weather, it was snowing, and I'm like, oh, just get me out of here.
Yeah, you guys got it. That was the toughest year for weather, too. I think that so far, that was like the craziest season I've seen for weather.
So rough. I'm watching like your season, everyone else's season. You guys all have like just nice, pleasant fall weather, and I'm like, dang it, we're like over on the Arctic tundra carving pumpkins. It's all snowing. And I have a really low tolerance for like super, super cold. So like I couldn't feel my fingers, and I'm just like looking over at Monique and her hair's all like ice to her face. And it was just crazy. And so at some point, when you're carving, can't feel your fingers and you're just like soaking wet from the rain. I didn't even I hated like that. They made us carve a dinosaur. I mean, I would like, as looking back on it, I just want to like run through the TV and knock it over because it just was so awful. But and I knew it as I was carving it because that wasn't my idea at all. Like I had a whole different plan, but it was so windy that day, and I wanted to make these really delicate those flaps that come up on I don't remember the name of the dinosaur anymore, but I just call it the one from Jurassic Park, the original first movie Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the spitter one. Yeah.
Yes, the spitter one. And I had all these ideas for it. And in theory, they would have worked really well. But that wind was just kicking my butt that day. And I'm like, forget it. So I had one of those moments of like, let me just pack my bags. I don't even care right now. But luckily, like I just straight by that episode. So it worked out fine. But yeah, you have moments. Just depends on the day.
Yep. Which episode was that? Which round was that, I should say?
I want to say it was the third because that was, I think from there we went to the finals, the final episode, I think. And I just remember that was the one I was like, I might go home this one. But I was like so on board with going home because it was brutal out there. But it was fun though. I mean, I loved it. I loved staying for the last episode too because that one was. It's just cool. That's the place where if you want to challenge yourself, and I'm like on an extreme level, and you're a pumpkin carver, like just try to get on that show. That's the one where you have so many resources and so many like-minded crazy people with you, where you're just like they want you to achieve that crazy vision in your mind and just get it out there. And that was a fun one, and you walk away like feeling super proud of yourself because you're like, wow, I did that.
Yeah,
so it's a cool one.
And it's one of those situations where you never get to carve pumpkins of that size or that magnitude of it. You have a plethora of material just at your disposal. Right. Like just being on set, it was like, can I take a couple of these home? Like, oh my God, it's like it's a who's who, a what's what of like awesome pumpkins because they're all picked, cherry picked to be the best, so that all these contestants can have the best opportunity to do their best work.
Exactly.
Holy moly! Seriously.
Here we go.
I dream of like having those resources, but like without the time constraints. I just want to like have all that stuff on set and just like me in my own little world and all the time in the world just to be able to do all that, because that's like I said, that's for me, like literally one of my, I don't know, I fantasize about that. So
seriously, without having to hear 30 minutes.
Yeah.
yes.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Where did the last 4 hours go?
Season 3, episode 5. That's
Wow, episode 5. How many episodes? Holy moly!
20.
Did you guys have like?
I thought it was 4.
I think it was 4 episodes. Mimar is a little. She might be confused.
I am. No, I think I'm confused. I don't remember. Like the days all blended together at some point. And I'm like, I had gone. I don't think I even slept from like the 3rd episode to the 5th episode of filming. I just stayed up, and I'm like, nope. There's no time to sleep. So that was a fun adventure though. So I recommend, if you have the means, do that at least once. So
That's it.
On another note,
And
You gotta-
Paul,
you gotta get
Paul will judge
accepted
you
to
hard
the show.
Yeah, Paul.
I have nothing to do with any of that.
He'll put you through the ringer once you get there, at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm very judgmental, super duper judgmental.
but see, like once you do it once though, like from at least me, maybe it's just me. Like I did it once, and now I'm like, yeah. I mean, it was so much fun. I learned a lot, but those contests, like the ones where they're more on the outrageous spectrum, I'm like, they're just so not for me. So like that's why I really love the one that we're doing, the GPCC, because it's just like, it's just about the pumpkin and the artistry. Like that is so like that makes me that's my piece.
Yeah,
But,
and honestly, Brandy, I think what I love about it too is it's like, for me, I mean, being on a competitive show and having to speak while you're doing it, and time limit, all that stuff like that, it is stressful. But this, not only do you have the month of September to get ready, but you literally have the entire month of October to enter. But but you stay in your element. If your element is sitting on your back porch with a giant jug of whiskey and headphones on while you carve, make that pumpkin. If yours is trying to do it as fast as you can and crank something out, that's what I love about this, because when you're really getting the person's best, it's not just a rushed drama piece, that they want to have 5 minutes, and all that stuff.
yes.
And they talk about reality television. Those time limits are legit.
Yeah,
they are. I had anxiety for these poor guys and gals because I had been there, and it's like I didn't have to be there over their shoulder, though I wanted to be and was told not to be because I was being very judgmental. But I would hear them say, Carvers, you have X amount of time, and it was like, oh my God, I gotta walk away. I'm feeling the stress. And they were putting out some pretty crazy stuff. You know how it is. Like they're supporting things, and there's structures, and
fire.
It's outrageous. Like it is what it is. And I agree with you, Brandy. Like being there and done it. Okay, it's good to be on the other side of the fence. And now let's see what people can do without a time constraint.
Yeah.
In the comfort of their own home with a little bit of reference and some inspiration. Like that's when you can, geez, if you got an empty refrigerator, you can make it last 3 days, and you can do all kinds of sculpting on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not endorsing putting pumpkins in a fridge for 3 days. Like, get it done in one sitting. Don't be like me and Matt and take a week and a half to finish one. I want to see more of Brandy's work.
You know what? I was just going to say that, Paul. You're reading my mind, because I know at the beginning, Ted, our buddy,
what an embarrassment of riches this show is right now. Oh, and well, just so happens a favorite piece of mine in this household.
Yes.
So I commissioned this piece for Lenora for Christmas last year, and Brandy was gracious enough to actually do it for me. And I got to tell you, this thing is so amazing and perfect. It looked like a silk screen of a photograph on a feather, because I can't even get close enough to read her name without my eyes crossing, and it's perfect. Every little detail is perfect, and it's on a feather. Did I forget to say it's on a feather?
Is that on a feather?
Yeah, I think, did I mention that? I might not have mentioned that. Unbelievable how perfect this is, Brandy. I can't even tell you. We stare at it like we're in a cult and we follow that feather. Like,
Oh my God.
like, just stare at it like, is that? I can't believe that she did that. It's it's definitely my favorite piece of artwork in my house.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so happy you asked me to do this, because I will say, like, sometimes when people ask me to do commissions, I'm so like overwhelmed with either just regular life or job or even doing other artwork. But this one I was really excited to do because I hadn't done a feather painting in quite some time. Oh, hey, Lenora. Yep. It was my pleasure to do this for you guys, because it was like not only like just really like there's something for me. I mean, I guess it happens with pumpkin carving too, but when it comes to feather painting, I get in this Zen mode of where like everything just feels like it flows, and I don't know, I love it. And I occasionally get that with pumpkin carving, but this it was on a different level for me. I really connect to these really well. But also just set off this chain reaction of like, I want to do more of these. It just really inspired like more of this and more painting. And I think we were talking the other day about how it inspired me to like buckle down and finish this other painting that I had been putting off for 14 years. And so this was a cool one for me, because I don't always get super inspired like this. So this was it was just, yeah, it was a nice little special blessing in my life too.
Well, that makes it even better for us. I mean, it's an inspiration all around. I got to be honest. I walk by that and it's like, I will never, ever pick up a paintbrush in my life, because I will never, ever be that.
Hey,
even I can paint on the side of an abandoned building and not even come 100 times close to as good as that is at that small of a scale. It's photorealistic. It's unbelievable.
It's supposed to inspire you to create. That's what we're
trying
to do.
It inspires me to walk by and try not to look at it before I go downstairs to try and carve a pumpkin, because it's depressing how talented she is.
Yes.
And if you guys haven't seen, you don't do it right now, because you're clearly watching the show and you're into this. So don't do it now, but you write this down: the pumpkin artist with the underscores in between, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
the feather artist, right?
Her Instagram. Not only we be absolutely floored by this art, and there's a ton of it on there, and she's got some really cool pictures that show kind of some really close up ones, which is, again, like Paul said, mind boggling. But her damn pumpkins, it's like the fact that she's even talking to us. I'm like, wait a minute, anyway, they're just stellar. I'm sorry, Brandy, Paul and I will readily admit this, but like when I've tried to make a female face. And you're an expert at it, and I mean, like I've gone and like looked at your lady or looked at different ones of yours. I'm like, okay, how do I get that squint or that fat roll or something? Anyway, you're a big inspiration.
Thank you. It's I don't know, pumpkin carving for me. I used to have a love-hate with it, but now it's just like how Paul was saying, like even being on that show and seeing like all these like new pumpkin carvers and like the stuff they're creating, that like sometimes I think like, oh, I don't want to carve pumpkins this year. I'm kind of not over it, but I'm just like, I have so much going on and other like kind of pumpkin-y avenues I want to take that don't necessarily involve carving all the time. But then I'm like, I start seeing everyone's stuff they're putting out, and it's just like so inspiring, and it just gets my like what is that called? Like my artistic juices flowing, and I'm like, I want to start like carving something now. So like it's I mean, I really appreciate that you said that, but I feel the same about your guys' work, and just like there's just so much. I don't know, this time of year just really gets me inspired. And I think it just like we were talking about it yesterday, like when you're inspired, you do your best work. So like when I'm especially this last year, I was just really inspired. So I started, I feel like, doing my best work, and that's how it is. Like I feel like art could be like that all the time, but it's not like that for everybody. But like for me, that's why I don't post like all throughout the year, just because for me, and again, it's different for everybody. Some people are inspired all the time. Some people just feel that need to create all the time, and that is totally cool too. But for me, I just need to I just do it when I feel it, and so I appreciate that, because it gets me even more motivated sometimes to hear.
You did the Joker. Sorry, the Joker way back was one of my biggest inspirations. You did a Joker, And
Oh,
you,
yeah.
I think you even painted it. Am I correct? Right? You did the whole shebang on this thing. And you had great videos of it and stuff. And at the time, there weren't a lot of people doing videos like that. So you were like, you were it for me for a while.
Yeah.
Like I looked at your stuff and was like,
I
either got to try or I got to take up tennis. I can find a different hobby. And yeah, you've done a couple, like, I don't even know how to say, I'm probably going to say it wrong. Maleficent?
Yeah.
I'm like, Malefilupagus? Like,
You said it right the first time, but that'll work.
yes, but I like Malefilupagus better.
Yeah.
That, like, you do stuff like that that's at a level that's just an exact replica. And I don't know how you're able to do that in a subtractive form. But you, my friend, I feel are the best at it. The very best that there is. Nobody can replicate an iconic figure in a perishable item. The way and you do it so fast, it almost looks like time lapse. I got to be honest.
Yeah, look at her, Genie from Aladdin last year. Look at that thing. I mean, like,
insane.
we had the picture there. It's
Absolutely
like,
insane.
What am I looking at? That's actually a pumpkin.
Thank you. I just love like whimsical figures, but I will say so you know that I was looking through my archive the other day, and I actually have. So I was this was years ago, maybe like 2, 3, 4. I'd say 4 or 5 years ago. I was contacted by Country Music Television. They're like, "Hey, we want you to carve some pumpkins for us." I'm like, "Hey, great. What do you need?" And they're like, "Oh, what about how about Dolly Parton?" And then Miranda Lambert and who was it? Luke Bryan. And I was like, "You want all 3?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go on and I'm looking at their references, like just their faces online. So there's a reason. I mean, they came out like good enough where I'm like, okay, they posted them and I was happy with them. But I've never posted them on any of my social media, my Facebook pages, because I just I don't know, Paul. Like when you say that, my mind goes to like the human faces and trying to like replicate those like quote unquote characters. And I wouldn't say I'm like the best at those.
That's different. Portraits, like when people ask me portraits, I can't type no fast enough.
Yeah, there's something about portraits and capturing a human face and character. Well, like it's different when it's a caricature. That's different. But when it's like the actual like a photorealistic, like trying to replicate that, I'm like, it is so difficult for me. And some people do it really well, but I don't think I'm one of them. I can do like more like whimsical characters, Disney characters. Like I love that. That's kind of my wheelhouse. But everybody else like that I see that does those, I feel like does it much better than I do. But I really appreciate it though. But yeah, so that's a definite. There's some skill involved with that for sure.
Sure. Well, think about it, right? Like Michelangelo, right? I'm pretty sure everybody he sculpted didn't look exactly like that.
True.
Like it's a stylized version, right? There aren't many people. I couldn't even tell you. There's one guy from England. I forget it. Simon. I think it might be Simon. He does portraits of like the Peaky Blinders and stuff like that, and you know who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It is stylized though. It's not an intentional caricature, but you know who that person is, but you wouldn't say it's an exact portrait. I think it's super hard to do an exact portrait, especially within the medium we're working in. Like, exactly. There'd be little super glue pieces all over the place when you're like, I took too much off the brow or the nose doesn't quite. So no, I was really referring to your character work, like the characters. Like you did Kung Fu Panda.
That one was a fun one too.
Cut it out. When you painted it, come on.
How's that even a pumpkin anymore?
Because sometimes when things get painted, they don't translate as good. You could see like the eyes might be too big or the nose is off. When you painted it was like, you got to be shitting me. Nothing got better. I don't know how it got better, but it even got better than it was already exact. It looked almost like ZBrush.
Yeah, that's why there was no close up on that one though, Paul. Like that one had the eyes just like, oh my gosh. I remember that one. I don't know if you can tell from the photo or from the video even, that pumpkin was so thin. That was like a grocery store pumpkin that was like maybe had 1.5 inches, 2 inches on it at the most. So by the time I started carving the eyes, they were just shredding apart like hash browns. And I was like, that's oh,
now.
Yeah, and so that one I carved fairly quickly too. But so there, I mean, some characters I feel like I can't not paint them. They're just, they need that signature, that look. So, but I don't know. There's something about those that's what gets me inspired, like to carve, is just like these whimsical characters. And I love also like when I do shows or events. I think too, like for me, I don't. It's something about like seeing a kid's face light up when they're like they recognize the character, and like, oh my gosh, that's Wreck-It Ralph, or that's Pumpkin Carver, or Maleficent, or whatever I'm carving at the time. And it just like, I don't know, just makes my day just seeing those kids, and then they want to carve something, and I'm like, that's where it's at for me. So yeah, it just, I think that's part of the reason I do them too. But
And you do it so well. You do it heads and tails above anybody else I've seen do it. And I look forward to when you put out a new one. I'm like, oh, good. I get to watch this. This is crazy.
Thank you. But it's mutual though. I think everybody has like their wheelhouse that they're really good at. At least the more established pumpkin carvers, we all kind of know who they are. Like they all have their wheelhouse and their things they do so well. And then they just like, they're always like one-upping it every year. And it's really cool to watch. So
it is fun to see. And it goes back to that almost like the starting blocks again, when you're like, I don't know if I want to do this year. And then you see somebody post something really cool and you're like, get me my tools. I have to see what I can do. How can I not one up it, but how can I put something else real cool out there?
Like I had a moment like actually a few weeks ago where I have a lot of pumpkin related stuff I'm doing this year, and it's just going to be very time consuming. So I'll have like a few announcements of my own, like in probably another week or two, just before October. And I'm like, the thought of pulling all my tools out, getting all my space ready, and because I'm like a messy carver, so I have like just, it gets everywhere on the floor and on the walls, and it just, I don't know why or how, it's just how it ends up. And so I was just thinking like, I just don't know if I want to do that this year, and I kind of am happy with what I did last year. Maybe I'll do one, and I was trying to talk myself out of it, and all I had to think about was like, for some reason, like there's a lot of carvers I love, but like Sue Beatrice popped into my head, and I know like every year she makes the most amazing sculptures, and I'm just like, so I just thought, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know Sue Beatrice is gonna knock it out of the park this year. And it's not like that need to like compete. There's not, again, it's not a competition thing. It's just like, I already know, like once I see her stuff, it's gonna make me feel so inspired to want to do pumpkins and just like want to get back into the flow of it. And so, like I said, it's that mutual inspiration that happens. And so I already know that's coming. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna end up carving pumpkins. I know it. So
her and Andy have become the king and queen of structure and animal. Like they do, I wouldn't call them, I'd say it's slightly caricaturized animals, but because Sue's got that super whimsical style, and it comes through in everything she does. But they're doing 3 times the size animals, or life-size lions, life-size bears, or like the fruit bat that was like 6 feet tall, and they've got it suspended in air, and they blow my mind every year. I agree. When I look forward to that, that's one of those things too where I'm like, I'm just not going to do a fruit bat.
Yeah,
you're not getting better than that fruit bat. I'll try something else. Maybe I'll try a lemur. Oh wait, they did a lemur. I can't do a lemur. I'm gonna do a cockroach. Right. That's what I'll do.
How about an elephant? Oh no, she did an amazing elephant.
She did. Oh, and now they're into the cardboard. Did you see the cardboard that they're doing?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. Jeez Louise, Sue.
I know.
Andy, knock it off. Seriously, with the talent. Seriously, chill out.
So that's like their wheelhouse. Like nobody does animals better than they do. Like they're just top of the line. Like you can't even. I mean, people can do some really cool stuff, but I'm like, I don't know. I will never even attempt to do something like that, just because. Well, A, it's so freaking big, but also too because they're so amazing. I'm like, there's no way you get any better than that. It's beautiful, but yeah. So like there's that's why I like just watching, see what everybody comes up with, because everybody has the thing that they do so well, and that I'm just like, I'm gonna take a piece of that, and I'm gonna try to it's really cool. I just love this season.
It is fun, and hopefully all the newbies, I don't know if we should call them newbies, but all these new young and up and coming fantastic artists and carvers are going to impress us this year for the GPCC 22.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
can't wait for that. Hopefully I get depressed. I love getting depressed when I see a new carving and be like, there's no way I could ever do that. That's what gets me going. Where it's like, all right, I got to figure out a way to do something. I got to find something to do.
Don't forget. I mean, like, I'll speak for myself. I'm not a 20-year-old anymore. I was, but
I thought you were like 23.
But the point being, like, I mean, some of these guys are coming out of the woodwork, like you said, in their teens and 20s, even their early 30s, putting out amazing work. And this is something you can do for a long ass time, And so it's like they're only going to get better. And so I'm like, now I want to talk to somebody about extending my life a little longer so I can.
Well, if you go into one of them no oxygen things where people keep their pumpkins, you might be able to do it.
There you go.
Hold my breath. Hold my breath for a little while.
We'll put some Botox, maybe a little filler in the lips. You'll come out looking like a Kardashian. You'll be beautiful.
I'm excited. You know what I'll do is I'll summon a hungry demon.
To harvest your organs and keep them fresh for you in his belly.
Exactly.
Oh, I smell a story.
So I definitely wanted to show this piece and have Brandy talk about it before we sign off for tonight. Tell us more about this, Brandy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so, and sorry, I didn't mean that negatively, but I'm just like, I don't know. I have this like, I don't know. I don't like talking about myself that much, which is like ironic because that's what this show's kind of for. But so yeah, this painting was started. I need to clarify this too, but it was started about 14 years ago, and I started. It was like one of my only canvas paintings I do. Normally, I paint on feathers, or I sculpt, or I do all these other like random types of art. Pumpkins being one of them too. And so I started doing this canvas painting a long time ago. It's a 16 by 20, not super big, but I'm used to painting really small, detailed work and just like little things, little tiny miniature portrait. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it. I started this painting, and then I just within I think I put maybe 10 hours into it, maybe 14 hours. And I'm like, I don't know, I'll work on it later because I was really intimidated. I painted portraits. I know how to do clothing and all these little details, but the landscape, I'd never painted a landscape before. And so I was like, that grass and all the prairie, that's intimidating to me. So I'm like, no. So I'm like, I'll work on it next week. And next week turned into like 14 years later. And so once so it was like maybe 2019, and I found it. I guess I'd forgotten about it. And then I ended up pulling it out of storage, looking at it. I'm like, I'm going to try to paint this again. So I started working on his clothing, little details, still avoiding the background. And then I let it go for another like 2 years because again, it's just that looming, I don't know, that landscape. I just couldn't, I don't know, something about it. I just did not want to face it. So then finally I made myself just like this past month, sit down for 15 minutes a day. And that 15 minutes turned into like 2 or 3 hours each day. Cause I actually got really inspired after I started working on it again. I'm like, I'm really enjoying doing this painting. So I put on some music and get in my little zone. And before I knew it, it was done. And so I was actually like, dang, I'm pretty happy with it. So, but again, like, don't like zoom in to like the background or anything, but now you're doing it.
It's insanely good. Stop it.
But yeah, so this one was really cool. I ended up winning several awards. So I was really like, and I just entered it into a thing here for fun, but it was well received by the public. So I was pretty proud of myself for doing this one. Cause I'm like, I don't know. It took so long, and I'm just happy I finished it. So it was, ended up being one of my I guess more inspiring things I've done this year for myself.
That's so beautiful.
Have you ever thought of selling prints of your work? Do you sell prints of your work?
I've done prints of my feathers before, but only like once. It's actually super difficult to make prints of feathers, and I have found one guy in this whole valley who can do it for me and do it correctly. Now, again, this is one of my first canvas paintings I've done. I mean, I did one like first, like some college class like many years ago, and it was some random like assignment. This is like the first one I've done that I've actually wanted to do. And I think I do want to make prints of this because canvas, you can make prints of canvas all day long. So I think I'm going to give this one a shot for that for sure.
The things you do, that you catch such realistic expression in faces from all angles. Like you're running a master class whenever you do it. It's so good.
Thank you.
Honestly, you are one of my favorite artists of all time, like across the board.
Paul, you say that to all your guests. I know.
I do, but this time I mean it. No, honestly, Brandy, I think I've told you this in the past. I think I've told you this like maybe years ago. Like you honestly were obviously still one of my favorite pumpkin artists, but you've slowly become one of my favorite artists as I see all the things you can do. It's just, I love it. It's awesome. Everything you do, I'm so impressed by. And
thank you.
And I'm lucky to call you my friend.
Oh,
thank you.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Feelings mutual though. Like I'm seriously like so honored to like, and just watching you guys like grow even with the show over the past couple of years. I'm like, it's so awesome. Then seeing now you're a judge on Outrageous Pumpkins. I'm like, this is like, it's so cool. Like, and you have to remember too, like, it's one thing to have like your fellow like friend artists like watching you and like because we know you, so to speak, and like seeing you doing all this, but like I imagine too, like even like the newbie pumpkin carvers coming up, seeing like you never know who's like following you, and then also like seeing you now you're graduating into like doing judging, and I'm sure there's like way more cool stuff coming up we don't even know about, and then like I'm excited about next year, like seeing or just thinking about the things that they watch as they see their favorite artists like grow as artists and like do all these amazing things, and then how it inspires them and motivates them to want to do better and want to get to where you are. Like that's just like so like whipped cream on the dessert for me, because it's just like I don't know, that stuff is like my driving force, and it makes me so excited for you guys. And I don't know, it's I feel the same way about you guys, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, you said it very well. Thank you very much.
I think I said it long-windedly, but you could get it.
no, so,
No,
I mean,
it's a cool, humbling experience. And not only am I the judge on Outrageous Pumpkins, I also get to be a judge in our fantastic pumpkin carving contest this year.
Yes.
And that I'm just as excited for that. I mean, hopefully, I mean, last year we got some crazy talent, and no word has got out, because the last couple episodes we've seen people tuning in from Greece, from Ireland, from Mexico, from England.
Cool.
I mean, let's go, kids and kiddos, Aussies and Ausettes. You know, let's get ye shrimp off the Barbie and the carving tools, and get ye pints. I don't know. Seriously, let's see some international. I know you guys got pumpkins everywhere. I mean, carve a potato if you have to. An ear of corn. But honestly, for the rules, we're going to stick with pumpkins this year. That is a big thing. That was there were a couple of carvings last year that were fantastic.
Yeah.
We're not pumpkin, which is kind of the sticking point.
And I'm going to throw this out there too. As long as it's on a pumpkin, but if you're not comfortable or used to carving faces, like I've seen some amazing fruit carvers out there. So like carve like some floral designs into it.
Culinary,
like
sure.
Like that's cool. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be 3D, but I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, like be in your wheelhouse and do something cool on a pumpkin. You never know like what it's going to turn into. And like there's some skilled fruit carvers out there. So I'd be really excited to see what they could come up with.
Yeah, sure. And it's not called the Great Pumpkin Face Carving Contest.
yes.
I mean, we're looking for the most impressive thing as a group that we can all agree on. We think was the one thing that we found the most impressive. And last year, I mean, how long did it take? It was like over 2 hours that we sat here, right? Like kind of debating, and there were so many that were in the running for so many good reasons. And then, you know, when it came down to Luke, for me, I know it came down to just the simple seams, because that's such a hard thing to do. It was a great carving, but to also make it seamless. And McFrazzle Stash was right there too. Like it was so down to the wire. Like you almost, it's a love and hate thing, right? You want to pick a winner, but you don't want to have somebody like all these carvings were so good, and some were so like spectacular. So what I'm trying to say is up your game, guys. Up your game. right?
Yeah, and I think I speak for the group here when I say make it hard. Make it hard to judge a winner. Like,
if you don't have anxiety carving a pumpkin for this contest, don't enter. You should be scared shitless. You should be trying to carve the best pumpkin you've ever carved in your life. Taking chances. Having one of the kids hold up something above for the picture so that like you can get the good picture and the thing's 9 feet tall. Like it takes a lot to impress us.
that's it.
Oh, that's so great.
So I'm gonna go to Matt and Paul to see what you're carving before we wrap up for tonight. So Matt, what do you got there? I know you're just
pumpkin. First of all,
I got the beginning. Well, I have a pumpkin. Thank you, Safeway next door.
Yeah.
It's kind of a beach ball, but I'll take
shadows though. Killer shadows.
So it's kind of hard to really get a sense yet, but he's going to be a hungry demon somehow. I don't know what to do with the mouth, but it'll come. So right now he's just kind of angry or hungry. Hangry. That's the
word. Hangry. Give him a Snickers. Give him a Snickers.
That's right.
Yeah. Matt, we basically have the same thing going on. I did far more talking than scraping, but mine was kind of strategic in a way because to get that hungry look, I don't want to go too fast because whenever I've done this kind of expression, if I go too fast and you take too much away from the fatty, like I'm hungry, I'm eating, that screws it all up. So, and I'm agreeing with you, Matt, like when you're doing something that has a full mouth, keep your focus in this area here because everything needs to be deep because you're going to push this part out. This part is actually going to have to stick out farther than the nose, which in the past we try to say the nose is the highest point on your face. Not if you're hungry or have a full mouth. You're, So if anything, it's got to be equal. So I got to take a long time on this. And then I see this, and I'm like, oh, do I give him a big shit-eating grin like he already has something in his mouth, or do I bring it down here and really fatten him out? And so, guys, seriously, if you want to get into pumpkin carving, you got to realize the pressure it comes with. To be honest, the options are limited.
Yes.
Now but I'll finish it before next week. I'm not on vacation, so it'll be in.
Well, to see more of Brandy's work, go to her Instagram page. But do you have anywhere else we can see your work?
Yep, I have. Let's see. I actually have the featherartist.com, and I also have an Instagram page that's just strictly dedicated to my feather painting. So basically at the feather artist, but with no underscores, just the feather artist. And then I have peculiarpumpkins.com, where you can pretty much go there and it'll take you to pretty much everything else. So, yep, that one has my book. That one has all my pumpkins. That one has all my events I'd be doing. And yeah, what else? I don't know. Lots of stuff on there.
Awesome.
Speaking of your book, I think last year that was one of the part of the prize pack. I mean, maybe there's another one in the mix.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
Love that book.
That, and I have some little goodies too that'll be I'll be announcing those soon. So
stay tuned. And even potential for anyway, I won't spoil anything, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of really cool prize stuff. A lot of cool stuff in the prize pack.
Yeah, so much more coming. Follow our Twitter, our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and even our TikTok. We're going to be posting a lot within the next 2 months, right? And going crazy. There's so much going on. Again, thank you so much. If we gave you any value, just, this is a free stuff. Follow us, like us. I said, we just, the support that we get from our community is awesome. So we definitely love you all. And again, sharing is caring. So thank you so much. We will be back next Thursday with another Carvers and Creators. Brandy, thank you so much for joining us. Matt and Paul, any last words before we sign off?
Yeah. If you don't already follow us, and start getting your tools ready because October 1st, we officially start taking entries. So
there you go.
Start doing your sketches, whatever you do, make little maquettes, get that shit ready. Get your pumpkins ready. And October 1st, I want to see tons of entries.
Yes. My 2 cents would be have a really fun and long holiday weekend, which is coming up, Labor Day. Labor Day, all that fun stuff. But yeah, just now dust off those tools in GPCC 2022. But yeah, go follow Brandy. That's really all you got to do. Get inspired.
Yes.
Follow them too, because this is like, yeah, you guys are all, I don't know. I don't have enough good things to say about you. It's just, I have too many good things. It's just, yeah, you guys are amazing. So thank you
so much.
Oh, and tune in to Food Network, September 25th.
Yeah.
Oh, you just might see Paul in his element.
You better be posting updates about that. That's going to be really cool.
Oh, you'll be sick of me by the 25th.
All right. We'll see you next Thursday with another Carvers and Creators. Good night, everyone. Take care. Thank you for joining.
Bye, everybody.